These yards are just crispified, all right? And the more you mow them, the more you're damaging them, number one. And you might be making your clients mad. I don't know. I mean, you may not have as many clients as you think next year if you continue to drive through and making everything brown.
Know your properties, approach your clients, and you can make it through this drought period. You won't go out of business. You don't have to sell all your mowers, okay?
Welcome back, all you amazing, hard-working warriors. And thank you for joining these heathens as ourselves with our no shirts on people's properties to hang out in this video and see what kind of work we produce, because it's blazing hot. This yard is one of my most irrigated yards that I have, and it's suffering. It's been 2 weeks since we mowed it. We are going to mow it today, and again right before the 4th of July. So hey, we're going to do more than mow grass, because I only had 2 properties that were green out of 38. And once we run into these issues, we have to figure out how we're going to fix our wallets, how we're going to get through the whole month coming up, July, August. It's going to be blazing hot, not a lot of rain. So we're going to go over trimming shrubs today, and how I go about pricing them so I can be guaranteed to make profits on them. And I don't know, sometimes people want to know how they're shaped. Well, pretty self-explanatory here. The hedge behind me is a head shape. Those right there are growing into a natural ball shape. But I get it. Some people will look at a bush that's all overgrown, and you're like, I don't even know what that bush is supposed to look like. So, I don't know. Hey, each bush is going to grow naturally the way it should look. But if you have bushes in front of your home, they have to fit the area that they were planted in, okay? Many landscape architectures and landscape designers, more the architects, because they're not out here in the field, but even some designers that don't actually do the work, they don't really take in consideration of how big a crepe myrtle would get right here in front of the house if they planted it. It would just take over everything, and then eventually you'd have to just chop it down. So, hey, roll with us, and I'm sure I'll stop and talk to the camera, probably more than I will get footage, because I don't know how the phone will hang up in the heat that we got. Hey, look at this little footage from yesterday that I took driving around some of our properties. We took Monday off. I knew I was going to do it on Friday. And last week we mulched, 45 scoops of mulch, trimmed bushes, cleaned up weeds, cleaned the pond, put down playground chips. And we did everything but my grass, and we made a lot of money. So check out this footage real quick, and I don't know if it's any good or not, but we're gonna have some real live trimming footage for the least. How long you think you mow that until it's dead? How many times you think they'll let you mow that until it's dead? Just saying. I don't know how you guys are thinking, but don't be mowing the grass when it's all crispy and brown. You're destroying your yards, like this one. Right there. See how yucky and brown that is? Look, the one beside it's mine. That's not behind me, that's me. Look. That's mine that I haven't mowed in weeks. It's the only green yard in the neighborhood. The only green yard in the neighborhood. The one beside it, we did not mow. It's not too awful bad. They don't run the irrigation as much. And then over here, you'll see on this side. So, that last one we just looked at, I don't even know if he has irrigation. I've never seen irrigation at his house, so I don't think he does. These yards are just crispified, right? And the more you mow them, the more you're damaging them, number one. And you might be making your clients mad. I don't know. I mean, you may not have as many clients as you think next year if you continue to drive through and making everything brown. You know, that's just my opinion. And sometimes I ask the client, you know, well, do you want me to come make it all uniformly brown, like a light brown and a dark brown stripe to make everything the same height? Or you just want to take your chances and let it grow? And then we can come fix it later on. But that's not, that's wow. Look at that. Dude, so much more you can do out here. So much more you can be doing out here. And I guess we're going to talk about that at a different time on what you can be doing. Or you just keep on watching my videos and figure it out as you watch. So the grass has been mowed. For those of you that are curious, we use 2 push mowers, and it takes us about an hour and a half to go ahead and push mow the whole place, fine tune, weed eat, edge it, and blow it all out. And yeah, we do it for $200. We also do weed patrol on the beds here, every single visit, and keep the driveway free of weeds as well. Today's visit, we also have been requested to do an important thing that you need to do to trees after you plant them. A couple years down the road after these roots get established, okay? We're going through and removing these ties, okay? Because the trunk tends to get squeezed, and it just totally destroys your trees if you leave this stuff on there. So if you're gonna take the time and effort to plant the tree, or pay someone the money for them to do that for you, make sure you take them off. I'll show them to you real quick. These tree ties were done really good, and they were used with the soaker hose and metal wiring and the big tree stakes. Whoa. So if you use anything that's small and tight, it will dig into that tree, and it will cause some painful abrasive injuries to the tree itself, and it won't be healthy ever after you ignore it. So we're gonna do that, and while he's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up this hedgerow for you, and we'll be able to get a little bit of footage because I have the camera set up here in the shade. So we'll roll that, and then we'll roll through the rest of it, and we'll stop and talk, take some breaks. Okay, let's do it. So I guess I could show you this one thing that could probably help you identify on how short to trim these little dudes. These are holly bushes, the ones that have the red Christmas berries on them. But obviously they're not red right now, they're green. So look, all these holly bushes that have the red berries, most of them are called Nellie Stevens. There's a couple different varieties of them. I just trimmed that new growth back to the berries because we want the berries in the late fall into winter time. We want those berries. That's one of the main beautiful things of the holly bush, besides its evergreen appearance. So yeah, that little quick tip. And yeah, not too bad for just winging it, guys. Just winging it, okay? You wing it and you do the best you can. Then 30 years later, you're a professional. You didn't even know it. Let's continue on. So always make sure you get a nice straight edge off your foundations or walls or whatever it is in that situation. And then I did go back through and do a fine-tune trim. Take care of any stragglers. And as always, when we go through and blow it off and clean it out, because all that stuff landed here, we're gonna blow it out with the blowers. We'll come back to and hit it again, okay, just to hit any little rooster tails that stick up, okay? Take your time with trimming shrubs, making the best possible, and your clients will have you back season after season after season, because not all shrubs get cut at this time of the year. Some will get caught in the fall, some will get trimmed back in the spring. That's up for your knowledge and experience to show through to your clients, okay? I gotta step back here in the sunshine now. Boom. It's so hot. It's roasting hot. So let's do it. Most of the time, you want to keep these shrubs in front of windows trimmed below the window. And if one's a little bit smaller than the others, don't trim him as harshly as the others. You want the little ones to catch up, so they're all uniformly the same size and uniformly the same shape as much as possible, okay? That's your goal when trimming bushes. In other words, if the bush you're getting ready to trim is smaller than the other bushes around it, don't trim off the new growth off the tiny bush. Let the tiny bush grow into the same size as the rest of the bushes. Just because it looks like it needs a trim, it doesn't, okay? It needs to grow, all right? Water. How's it going?
It's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Woo! That was not easy. The stakes are big. They were in the ground pretty far. So, yeah, remember this, guys. When you're charging to plant trees, especially large size trees, it's not easy and it's not fast to stake these little dudes in, okay? Yeah. Taking a break. I'll check back in. So real quick, before we go back to trimming, let me show you this one bush that I was talking about. You know, sometimes you just don't trim them because they're tiny and they need to grow more. This is a perfect example. I'll show you. Kind of ugly right this moment compared to others, but 2 seasons from now, he'll be perfect. Let's look at everyone else. So you can see here where I did not trim him. He's got scragglers on him because he's little. He's smaller than the other ones. This one's trimmed, that one's trimmed, and this one's not. So I'm trying to get him to match up with everybody else. And pretty much that one back there. But it's okay. He was suffering a little bit. He was a little bit yellow last year. And I accidentally trimmed him too small last year. I wasn't really paying attention. So that's the way it goes. And I got these 4 to trim right here. We'll go down this line of Autolucan laurels. I know these are not Autolucan laurels, these are cherry laurels, the big ones. So here in the back of the house, we have a lot of the cherry laurels, and he wants these trimmed below the windows and kept below the windows. So we're gonna go ahead and trim these back and continue to do it as the seasons progress and as they're needed. So carry on. There you go. Nice and tiny again after the growth of the season. So maybe this is a good point to address the what shape should I make these bushes, right? Now, ultimately it's up to the homeowner and how the bush is naturally going to grow, okay? This homeowner requested that we keep these separated, not let them grow together as a hedge, and keep them shorter than these AC units for a reason, okay? Airflow. He didn't want these units to overheat once these bushes get all huge and covering all the airflow up. Makes perfect sense. He also doesn't want to block these windows out. So his preference in this area was keep them separate. Always go to your clients first. Make sure in detail you understand how they expect these shrubs and bushes and trees to be trimmed out. So if you go in there and trim them your own way, and that's not what they saw in their mind, you're gonna be wrong. It doesn't matter if you're right in this situation on their property for their bushes. Their mind says that you didn't do it right. So they're not gonna be happy. It's always up to the customer and how they want things, first and foremost. Then it's up to us to do it exactly what they picture, or better. So I got one large hedge that I got to get the ladder out for up the roadway, and I think it's in some shade. All right, so here we are. It's 6:15 in the evening, and I got one hedge row left to trim, and it's pretty long, but we don't have to trim much off of it. So
Did you want your headphones?
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. You have to set stuff up ahead of time. All right, these seasons come up on you fast. You don't have a lot of time once the season hits, so you want to plan ahead as much as possible, right? And right now, with all that dead grass I just showed you on the footage, you know, it's time to look for other things to do. All these properties have overgrown areas, have overgrown weeds and beds, have those weeds that nobody saw that grow out of the plants all of a sudden, and then you see them and they're like mini trees. There's dead stuff, and every property has dead things in the shrubs themselves. If you get to the point where you can't mow the property, contact these homeowners, okay? Ask them, after you explain the situation, say, hey, it's not healthy for the grass to be mowed right now. So, because you already have this budgeted in your income, and there are still things that need to be done in your property, would you like me to come through and prune out these 3 or 4 shrubs in exchange for the $80 I usually mow your yard for? It's pretty simple. It's a simple conversation, but you have to know your properties, okay? That phone conversation I just had, I know every single one of my properties picture perfect in my head. I don't know if that's a special gift or not. I don't know if my video replay brain works differently than everyone else's, but I know all these properties, okay? So know your properties, approach your clients, and you can make it through this drought period. You won't go out of business. You won't have to sell all your mowers, okay? I can go make $3,800 in a 4-day work week, not mowing grass, contacting clients, asking them if they want these services done, and negotiating how we go about making the money we need to make, okay? So look, hopefully this video did you a little bit of good, and hopefully you're all prosperous and we make it through this hard time. I went and met with that client today when I was taking that grass footage of all the dry yards. I went out there to a client that I have. He's new this year and he's on a new property. Okay, they just moved in. They're just learning the property. Well, it's probably 10, 12 scoops of mulch. It's probably half a mile of bed edging involved and trimming, weed control in the beds, all this stuff. So I went out there, gave the price. No, I haven't gave the price yet. I went out there and talked to him. Okay, he understands that he lives on a budget, and I'm not mowing grass for a couple weeks. July and August are gonna be just as hot, okay, just as dry. So get ready. That's why I'm putting this video out here for you guys. Get ready, prepared. So he was like, hey, my budget says maybe we can do this in phases. That's perfect. It's wonderful when you have to work in phases to get things done. This time of the year, we can go knock out one big part of that job, trimming, weed control in the beds. 2 weeks later, we come in there, edge the beds, do that process, which is extremely laborious. 2 weeks after that, we come in there and do all the mulching, okay? That gives him budgets. And it may take 3 months, July, August, September, whatever it takes, right? So, I don't know. I don't even know what else I want to talk about right now. Nothing, because I've been working all day here at the house and getting all that paperwork, making sure that my billing goes out before vacation time, and half my clients are on vacation and they're not around, and payment is not easily accessible, all right? Yes, some payments do electronic payment, but others do not, so I'm not picky. Hey, as always, be good if you can, always be kind, above all, love each other. Peace. Elite Landscape Style.
I want you flipping.
Hey, look. More, buddy. Look what I can do. Beat you. No, you're okay. Get it. Get it. Get it. No.
I know, this is awesome.
I might run into it.
Careful, son. Don't be running everywhere.
Hold on.